Okay, hi everyone. This is the spinning rock assignment, our first assignment, and all we're going to do is create a draw on top of this little GIF file that I put on, um, which I found and downloaded. And so what you need to do is go into Blackboard and download that file. It's there called Spinning Rock. And once you do that, open it up, and this is what you should have looking at you right here. And then I'll show you. We started it in class, and I just want to show you how to do it again. And then the next assignment will be we'll do something with blue. Okay. So anyway, so here we are. And first thing I want to do is make sure you have properties open. So if you remember, if you go up to Windows here and you click on properties, I'm clicking it off, and then I'm going to click it back on, and there it is. It's properties is up here. Okay, so, and then make sure instead of, right now I have it clicked on dock. If you look at the window here, let's make sure I have, if it's on dock, just click on either the first frame in the timeline, or just click on the object itself. Okay, and then you'll see that it's a movie clip, and I want you to turn that into a graphic. So in properties window where it says object, you'll see movie clip. Just go to graphic. Okay, and just to verify that's what we want, let's go to, we'll go back to the timeline, and it'll just use it to scrub over, and you'll see that that's the animation. Okay, we got a little rock that just turns around. So this assignment is to show you that it'll benefit you at some point when your character, you don't have to, we're not doing animation for the assignment, for the final assignment, at the end of the semester, but just to show you that when you are animating for a game, it's benefits you to be able to draw your animation or draw your character from 360 degrees. Now your character is going to be far more complicated than this, but or it may not, I don't know, but anyway, this is just how you would do it. You just draw your character from 360 degrees, but you're not drawing 360 drawings. You're drawing, I'll just click on this, and I'll right click on it and edit in place, and you'll see that there's 1, 2, up here in the timeline, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 drawings, each of them 3 frames, goes out to 30 frames. So that's frame 1, 2, drawing 1, drawing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So let's start at this point. Okay, so we're here now. Let's go back to the main scene. And what I'm going to do is, okay, let's go back. Whoops. Click on the object. Just click on it, or click frame 1. That's to select it. Okay. It's a graphic. I'm going to turn the brightness up. So if you go to Windows, if you go to Properties, Object, and you go down to something that says Color Effects, you can change the brightness. And I'm just going to increase the brightness. That way I'm going to draw on top of that. Okay. And, or just do it for now, and then if I right click, now I'm inside. So let's go back to the top there. Let's right click, edit in place, and now we're inside the animation itself. So we're inside that little thing that called spinning rook. They made a spinning rook GIF, spinning rock GIF. So anyway, so let's create another layer. Okay. And every 3 frames, I want you to hit F7. which is a blank keyframe. So now you're working on layer 2. Layer 1 is the animation from the GIF, okay? And working on layer 2. Okay, we're going to draw on top of this. Just going to get a sense of how to draw on top of it. Okay, we're just going to recreate it. Okay, we're going to recreate it, and we're going to use our line tool. So now, I selected the line tool. If I go to the bottom of the toolbox, my toolbox is vertical. It's over on the left-hand side. I go down to stroke color, and I'm going to pick red. Okay, and now I'm going to draw on top of it. Okay, we're basically here, we're just going to digitize, we're going to vectorize the GIF file. Okay, we're drawing vector lines and vector objects, or I mean not objects, but circles, ovals, that kind of thing. So this is what it means by vectorizing it. We're going to create vector lines on top of the original GIF file. Okay, so I've got my line tool, and I'm going to draw on top of it. Okay, so I just drew a line like that, and I bring my cursor over it, and you'll see that little curved line underneath, and you can bend it. I'm going to make this a little thicker, so I select that line, and I go over to my properties window. It's always good to keep that properties window open no matter what. And I'm going to make that line a little thicker. So I'm going down to where it says color and style, and you see underneath it says stroke size, and you go over to the right, it says 1. I'm going to make that 3. Okay. Better yet, I'm going to make that 2. Okay, let's make it 2. All right, so now I'm going to pick up where I left off on one side here of that line and create another line. And then do the same thing. And then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do that. And then I'm just going to bend it, and bend it. So there's my first drawing. And kind of just follow that black line underneath as best you can. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Now what you can do is take what you did, go up to the top here where it says edit, copy it and move it to frame 4, and then paste in place. And let's adjust it a little bit, because it's going to be moving. Okay. All right, so just so that it's not the same as the first drawing. All right, so let's copy that, move it to frame 7, paste in place. And let's see what it looks like underneath here. All right, then we're going to copy it. I'm selecting it. I'm going on to the stage here, and I'm just putting my cursor over it and clicking on it. And I'm going to go up to edit, copy, over here, paste in place, and now it looks like it's going to be moving a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to copy it, select it, copy it, move it to frame 13, and now it's moving even more, so I'm just going to. So now if I just go back to frame 1, okay. So you see what I'm doing here. Go into edit, copy, Go to frame 16. Every 3 frames there's a new drawing. So we go to the timeline, you'll see you've got a drawing here, and you know it's a drawing. It's a new keyframe. A new keyframe, if you look at the timeline, look at any layer, you'll see that little black circle in the lower left. That means that's a new keyframe. It lasts 1, 2, 3, and then in the 4th one, there's a new keyframe. So there's a new little black circle that lasts for 3 frames. And then in frame 7, same thing, a new little keyframe with that little black circle. Every time you see that black circle, that means there's a new keyframe, a new drawing in this case. Okay, so let's go back to there. Okay, now you see our drawing is bending a little bit, so let's try to do our best to kind of follow what that animator did. Okay, and we're going to do copy, and we're going to do place, and just move your line to follow that line that they created, that animator created, and oops, and let's select it, copy, move it over to frame 22, and you'll see it changes even more, so let's do that. Okay, and let's select it, copy, and it changed a lot, so let's move that our line on top of the black line that was created. Okay, and then let's go to copy for the last drawing, and just move it a little bit. Okay, so if we go back to the top, the timeline, and we take that vertical blue line indicator, this thing I'm moving back and forth, that thing that's in the timeline, that shows you what frame you're in. It's a frame indicator, so it indicates what frame you're in. So if I just scrub to the right, and there's our spinning rock, but we need a face. So let's create another layer. Let's lock layer 2. We're not using that anymore. And let's go over to our toolbox and go down to where you see a rectangle tool, or it might be already an oval tool. So you put your cursor over that icon, and then to the lower right you see a little arrow. Click on that. Oops. And then you'll see rectangle tool, rectangle primitive tool, oval, oval primitive tool. Click on oval. And what we're going to do is we're going to create, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I like to work larger, so I zoom in a lot. I don't like working like that, or zoom in. I find it easier, so I would I would suggest it for you guys. Okay, so let's go down to our toolbox, and I've got this color window open, and if it's not open, you just go down and click color. I just turned it off, so I'm going to turn it back on, and there you go. Okay, so mine is, the stroke color is red. You'll see I put my cursor over it, stroke color. Okay, and then there's the fill color on top of it. Stroke color is that little pencil, and the icon for the fill color is that little paint bucket. So click on mine's white right now for the fill color. I'm going to make that red. So I'm making both the stroke color and the fill color red. Okay, so now I'm going to go up to make sure I'm working on layer 3. Layer 1, layer 2 are locked. Layer 1 is the original GIF animation. Layer 2 is what we just did. It's the outline. And layer 3 is going to be the eyes and mouth. So I have my oval tool. Now for a perfect circle, you hold your shift key down and you get a perfect circle. If you don't do that, you can get an oval shape. Let's keep it a perfect circle for right now. So I hold my shift key down, and we're going to draw this little eye on top. Now click on the outside of it. And you're gonna, let's redo that. Get rid of it. Okay, so undo again, Control Z. So let's go back to, let's click on that line, or I'm sorry, let's click on Oval Tool. Now go over to Properties, and right now my stroke size is 2. I'm going to make that 1, and that's it. So then I'm holding my Shift key down, and then I'm going to, you know what? Let's do this. Go to your color window. Go to stroke color of, let's make that black. Now, let's do this. Let's go to our oval tool, hold our shift key down, and I'm going to make that eye. But I'm going to get rid of the stroke outline, the black part, and get that line right there. I'm going to select that, okay? Edit, copy, and then go over and paste it in place. And then I'm going to take my cursor and make sure that you're in Toolbox. You've got your selection tool. So you got that, okay? And then just going to drag my cursor over it, and you'll see this little kind of cross with little black arrows at the top and the sides. And I'm just going to move it over here, okay? There it is. Now I'm going to go select the line tool, okay, and I'm going to draw a line. Whoops, I don't like that. Let's do the eyes first. Oh wait, yeah, let's do the eyes first. All right, so those are my eyes for frames 1, 2, 3, but you'll see that they start to move a little to the right. So in frame 4 on layer 3 in your timeline, hit F6, creating a new keyframe. Now I'm going to click on my selection tool, and I'm going to start to move these guys to the right, just like that, a little bit, so that if I go to frame 1, you'll see that those eyes are starting to move because the rock is now going to be spinning. Okay, so let's go to frame 7, hit F6, and those eyes are starting to move farther to the right. Okay, let's go to frame 10. Now you'll see that you're only going to see one eye at this time, because now the rock is starting to spin. Okay, so the face is starting to spin and starting to almost be in profile. So now you're not going to see that one eye here. I'm going to select it and delete it, and I'm going to select the other one and move that over to right there. And so then I'm going to go to frame 13. Now, I'm going to hit F6. Now, right now, it doesn't show an eye on that original GIF file, GIF animation. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a artistic choice, and I'm going to move the eye here so that you at least see part of it. Okay, now I'm going to go to frame, that's just an artistic choice for me, so go to frame 16 and let's get rid of that eye completely. Okay, now you'll notice on your layer you've got a drawing in a keyframe in 1, 2, 3, a new one in 4, 5, 6, a new one in 7, 8, 9, and a new one in 10, 11, 12. So you don't have to have anything in the keyframe for 13, because now the eye is not being seen, so you don't have to have anything there. So let's go to, okay, same thing for, okay, so that's 13, 14, 15. Let's hit F7. That gives you a blank keyframe. Okay. Okay, so let's go to frame 19, F7, blank, and now you'll notice that the eye is starting to come around from the other side. So in frame 22, let's hit F7 for now. Let's go back to frame 10. Okay, frame 10, and wait a minute, was okay. Let's go to frame 10, and let's copy that, and let's go to frame 22, and let's paste it, and then let's move it because that eye's starting to come around from the other side. Okay, now let's go to frame 25 and change that and hit F6, and let's move that eye over here, but we need another eye, so let's make sure that eye is selected. Let's go to copy, okay, then go back to edit, paste in place, and move this eye over here. Now let's go to frame 28, hit F6, make sure to select both those eyes, and let's move them back over the original animation. So now we have our eyes. So let's go back to frame 1, let's scrub to the right, and you'll see our eyes go all the way around. Okay, and that's how you animate something. You simply create, every time you create a keyframe, the placement of certain objects on your screen, on your stage, change position. So every time you want something to change position, you hit F6 to create a new keyframe. Okay, so every time you want those eyes to move, I'm hitting F6. Okay, let's go back and let's layer our let's name our layers. So let's call that the GIF on layer 1. Let's call that the body on layer 2, and layer 3, let's call those the eyes. Okay, so now we've got our eyes, but we still need our mouth. So let's go to the timeline, create another layer. Let's call layer 4, double click on it to change the name, and let's call that our mouth. Okay. So let's start creating this mouth. Okay, let's use red for the stroke color. So if you don't have Windows, the color thing open, which I think we opened before, so it still should be open. And right now we have a color of black for our stroke tool. And below it, you can see this little icon here that says swap colors. So click on that, and now we've swapped. What was red for fill is now red for stroke. Okay. Now let's go back over to, let's make sure we select the line tool. And let's make this, go to properties, and let's make that stroke color 2. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now in frame 1, let's just draw this simple little line. Okay, but as it moves, we need to do a new keyframe. So let's go to frame 4, hit F6, and let's move our mouth a little bit to the right. So you'll see if I scrub the vertical frame indicator to the right, I just drag it here, and I'm holding my left button down and dragging it. That's how you scrub through. So you'll see the eyes and the mouth move a little bit. Okay, so now every 3 frames, a new keyframe. Let's go to frame 7. Let's have F6, and let's move that mouth. It's starting to move a little bit more. Okay. Now let's go to frame 10, F6, and let's move the mouth over here. But we have a little bit of extra mouth hanging over. So what you do is go to selection tool, and you can hold your left mouse button down and just drag this little rectangle around the part that you don't want. So just drag that, and you'll see a selection which looks like that, and then hit delete. Okay. Now let's go to frame 13. Like the eyes, they have disappeared because it's spinning. Okay, so let's hit F6. Actually, let's hit F6, and then select that mouth on the stage here and delete it. So you're going to get a blank keyframe because there's nothing in that keyframe for the mouth or the eyes. So that's frame 13, 14, 15. Go to frame 16, hit F7, go to frame 19, F7, go to frame 22. Let's hit F7, but let's create a mouth that's a little starting to come around the other side. So let's just draw a line like this. And I'm going to select the part I don't want. And maybe there's a little bit more there. And there we go. Okay. Now let's go to frame 25, hit F6, and let's take that frame that was in frame 22, and let's go to the selection, and all I'm doing is taking that and doing that, okay, and let's go to frame 28, F6, and we'll move the drawing or the mouth like that. Okay, so now when I hold Control plus sign to zoom in, Control negative minus sign to move out. Okay, so now if I go back to frame 1, and I scrub to the right, I'll see my drawing. And basically, I'm only drawing on top of what they did, but this is how to give you an idea how to create something. You can use, this is a good way to practice, use a GIF file of someone else did. What you do is you import that. I can show you that in class if you have more questions. But you can import a GIF file and then draw on top of it. It helps you to practice how to create keyframes. It helps you to practice how to animate on top of someone else's animation. The best way to learn something is to practice drawing someone else's drawing. The best way to animate is to practice what someone else has animated. This is all practice. You do this kind of thing to get used to how to create drawings and animation. Okay, so now let's lock all those layers and let's turn off the bottom layer, that GIF layer. I'm going to turn it off. You remember how to do that up on the timeline here. You got these 3 icons. You got show all layers right up here. Show all layers as outlines. Show or hide layers and lock layers. If you're not working on a layer, I lock it up. It's good practice. Let's go to the GIF file and turn that off. And then you'll see you've got a nice vectorized animation of what they did of a spinning rock. Okay. I'm just scrubbing back and forth. Now, if you want to play it and put it into a loop, you go to the timeline. You see all these icons up here, and you go to the second one from the right, and it says loop, which you can also use. There are hotkeys that you can, if you ever get used to using hotkeys, and the hotkey is basically, if I put my cursor over this loop, you'll see it says Alt-Shift-L. If you like doing that, Alt-Shift-L, feel free. I like to click on the icons just so that, you know, I know what I'm picking. That way I don't have to memorize any shift hotkeys. So I just click on that icon and now it should loop. But you'll look and see my vertical line is just going really fast between frames 1 and 3. That's okay. You'll see these blue arrows, one left, one right, and then you drag your cursor up and you'll see your black line with an arrow to the left, black arrow to the left, black arrow to the right. Just drag it out all the way to frame 30. Now hit play, which is that cursor next to the loop. Oh, I'm sorry. The icon next to the loop icon, and just hit play. And then that will loop throughout your animation, and there he will spin forever. Okay. Okay, and now that's it. That's assignment 1. That's all I want you guys to do. Okay, assignment 2, I will put out a video, and that will be, we will do the same kind of thing, but we'll do it with our friend Blue. All right, so that's it. Once you create this, save it as spinning rock, and actually save it as assignment 1, spinning rock. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go up to File, and I'm going to go to Save, and I'm going to save it in my, we could save it save it on the desktop, and then from the desktop you move it to your Dropbox. But I'm going to save it as assignment, okay, down here, 1 spinning rock. Okay, and then I'm going to save it. It's going to be in my class, on my I have folder on my computer here that says our class. It's just MCC class. Okay, I would save yours to the desktop, and then from the desktop move it to your Dropbox, or copy it to your Dropbox. Okay. All right, that's it. So once you finish that, move it to your Dropbox, and then assignment 2, which I will show you in our next video. We're going to put it out tonight, and that will be our friend Blue. Okay, that's it.